Hi, this is Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Welcome to Crochet Podcast, episode 119. Thank you so much for inviting me over. I'm so glad we get to spend this time together. I've been crocheting a bunch this week and I can't wait to show it to you. But before we get started, I want to give a big congratulations to the winner from episode 118. Congratulations to Kelly Carter. Congratulations, Kelly. Send me an email, krista@secretyarnery.com, and I will email you my latest pattern. Normally, I start out with finished objects, but this week, I don't have one. I have a bunch of whips, and I have a bunch of UFOs, and I have a bunch of things I'm going to frog. Frog means rip it, rip out your stitches. UFO, unfinished objects. And whips are work in progress, in case you don't know what those funny little names mean. So I'm going to start with whips, works in progress. My biggest and best, what I have really been working on this week, I just finished it a few hours ago. By finished, I mean finish the crocheting part, is on my celebration shawl, or my celebration wrap, or my celebration bed runner, all of the above. This is a 3-month historic temperature blanket. Goes this way, I suppose. So this is the 3-month historical temperature blanket that I made for the year of my 50th birthday, including birthdays from 3 of my other children. So I scored on that one. And it is just a nice little wrap size. I still have to do the tassels on the ends, but the crochet part is finished exactly 3 months. Now you might be wondering how big this is, how wide it is. And I can tell you that. I measured it even. Where's my measuring tape? I want to say 49.5 centimeters if I had it memorized. Where's my tape measure? Got another tape measure. It is 46.5, almost 47. Let's say 47 centimeters for 3 months, which is 18.5 inches. So 18.5 inches times 4. I'm going to put that math up on the screen for you. No, I'll do it for you on my phone. Let me just do that. Calculator. So that would be 74 inches tall or long for a 12-month temperature blanket. But I also used a larger hook. For this one, I used a 5.5 millimeter hook, just so it was a bit squishier for a wearable. So it'll be a little smaller if you are using the 5 millimeter crochet hook. And in centimeters, that is 188 centimeters for the whole year. So that gives you an idea of how long your temperature blanket is going to be for the whole year. Totally usable size, great for the top of a bed. It's going to be stunning. You might remember this beauty from last week. I did popcorns for birthdays instead of the rock star, and I decided to go back not only to remove the popcorns. I do like them. I do like how they look, but I wanted it just to be like a flat texture, just because the yarn and all those stitches are so gorgeous. I didn't want to like confuse it with another texture. So I went back and I also started 2 weeks earlier. Oops, upside down again. Started 2 weeks earlier so I could get my youngest son's birthday here. So there's Anthony, mine, Oliver's, and Tanea's up at the top. So 4 birthdays in here, and just with Rockstar to celebrate those special days. So that is cool. I just have to do the tassels, and I also hatched another idea. Of course I did, right? So what I'm going to do, I think, for my temperature blanket, the real one I'm working on, it's pretty great reaching all of my whip baskets right there, I'm just saying. This is my real temperature blanket. I've done a week of it. A week? I don't know. Have I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. I haven't done yesterday's, did I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6 days of my temperature blanket. So I am a day or so behind, which I like to be. I don't want to be current like every single day working on it, because that will burn me out. So I'm just kind of keeping track of my days, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But what I found from doing just the 3-month version, and I know it's historical, but Nairobi weather's pretty generally consistent throughout the year, is I'm gonna pretty much have a pink blanket, or I feel like I'm gonna be having a pink blanket. And there's nothing wrong with a pink blanket, but what I really loved from my little sample I did, my first sample, I loved all of these colors in there. They're like so like just gorgeous, and that's what I really, really love. I still like these. It's not that they're terrible, but in my head, I'm gonna have mostly pink with a little bit of yellow and green in the middle, maybe 1 or 2 stripes of purple, and then it's gonna go, and then it's gonna be pink and orange again. And as much as I love pink and orange, I think this little chunk around my birthday kind of wore me out on the pink and orange. I like this part. I think that's real cool. And then to change all my colors again, because I do love my colors, don't get me wrong. But I had an idea. And tell me if you think it's illegal. Tell me if you think it's illegal. Well, let me take out my special yarn because I'm not using... I had a gray yarn in there for my special, but I'm changing that for a rock star anyway. Out of there, rock star. Are you ready for it? And you can tell me if you think it's absolutely wrong, okay? I think I'm going to invert it. So the pinks are going to be my cold temperatures, and the blues are going to be my warm temperatures, with purple being my hottest. So I might switch those top ones around. So maybe like the dark purple is the hottest. I might mix that up a little bit, but I think that way, because generally, let me see. Yeah, it's pretty much always above 24. So if it's above 24, that is just these colors, just my oranges and pinks again for the whole year, minus a little, like a few crazy days. So I'm gonna have this for my main temperatures, and then these for my crazy days. Even though it's like mentally wrong, you know, because it's red is hotter and cold and blue is colder, but I just want my blanket to look pretty, and I don't really want to do this again with all just like pink everywhere. And I do love pink, don't get me wrong, but do you think it's illegal to just invert my temperatures? So most of my days will be like nice blues and greens and purplies. I know that's what I'm thinking of doing. Pretty sure I'm gonna do it, at least as a sample, because, where's my little guy? Oh, here it is. Because we're already starting out, well, that's this way. We're already starting out in like the oranges. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. Let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Now, another little tip I have if you are doing a temperature blanket is to grab yourself a little diary, a little notebook. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to have like the days. And then at the beginning of the week, like on a Monday, I'll check my weather forecast and I'll write down what the weather app on my phone says the weather's gonna be for each day. And then all the days that I remember around 3 o'clock, I go out and write the temperature. So yesterday was 29 degrees. The app said it was 25. And then today, I haven't checked yet, but I will. Then you have a spot where you can keep track of your temperatures, and eventually you'll have a really good idea of what your app says to what your temperature is going to be. It ends up being pretty consistent. So that is one way of kind of giving yourself a backup way of finding your temperatures if you forgot to check your temperature that day. So a little book, and I got a nice small one just so it can kind of stay near where my thermometer is outside. Well, I'm keeping it inside, but you know, the same area of the house, just so I can like run over, write down the temperatures, just a quick little way so I can confirm what my real temperature is compared to the temperature my phone says. And eventually you won't even have to check your temperature. You're gonna know how to adjust the temperature on your app, on your phone. So I hope that helps somebody. And now it's time for Tip of the Week. In keeping with temperature blanket moss stitch things, I am going to show you how to check if you have done your chain. If you've done your chain one after your single crochet. Now there's an easy way to see if you have done your chain. If you look underneath your hook and you just see one loop of yarn, one strand on your working yarn, that is your chain. If you look under your hook and there is more than one loop, that means you have not done your chain. That is your stitch. So here it is a single crochet, but it'll look the same if you've done a double or a treble. You'll have 2 strands under your hook, and if you have 3 strands, that is a half double. So if you've done your chain, you will just have 1 strand underneath your hook on that working yarn. Yes, I may or may not have started the temperature blanket in inverted colors, but isn't it so pretty? Look at that. Ooh. And now, news of the week. So, news of the week, kids are back in school. They started on Monday. So they're getting back in the groove of things, getting their studying done, their homework. They have big exams coming up in a few months, but they're starting to prepare for them. So that is a change. And if you remember that big mess shelf from last podcast, from episode 118, yeah, that was it. Horrible, right? Well, now, ready? Cue the angels, right? Totally got it done. It took about a day. It wasn't as bad as I thought. I did need those containers, so I've made 2 containers for Christmas stuff, 1 container for things that I want to do tutorials for, like small little things, 1 container for things that I've already done tutorials for, but they're kind of like learning tools. Like I did one for turning your work on granny squares, so I kept all those. Also joining up different sized rectangles to granny squares. All sorts of things like that are in 1 little container over there. Plus a whole stack of empty whip baskets. What? I've changed whip baskets, but those are still so great. And there's even empty space and all my Sencho knitting machines. So that was great. I feel great about it. It's just so nice having all of that space and being able to walk over there and reach everything and having everything kind of where it's supposed to be. Now, if you would like to win a free pattern, all you have to do is, have you subscribed to this channel? Go ahead and hit this button under this video right now so you don't miss out on any more fun stuff just like this. Yes, you have to be a subscriber of the channel and also answer question of the week. And question of the week is, what is your favorite thing to crochet for spring? For me, I'd have to say baby blankets. I just love those lacy, kind of small, kind of cute lapgan size blankets. So fun, and it just makes me feel like springtime to have a nice loose kind of lacy crochet stitch. So that is it for me, but tell me what your favorite thing to crochet for spring is in the comments under this video. Yes, I know it's still winter, but let's just go to spring in our heads. Let's mentally be springtime together. If you're enjoying this video, hit that thumbs up. I get a lot of questions asking about Chickpea. If you don't know about Chickpea, she's a little tiny, she was about this big. We called her Chickpea. She was a little tiny abandoned cat from our road. I don't know what happened. The mom moved them, moved the litter, left one behind, something like that. So we have one little baby cat that we had to feed, bottle feed and stuff. Anyway, let me go get Chickpea and you can see how big she is now. There's Chickpea. Such a good putty. So she's got green eyes now instead of her cute blue ones. Isn't she sweet? I know, chicker. And she's a little renegade. She tears this yarnery up, let me tell you. Don't you? When she starts jumping on my lights, then she's got to go. But there she is. And there she goes. Right, Chickpea? So that is Chickpea. She's doing great. She's still on kitten food, but she's eating kibble. And she likes a lot of water. She's a water girl. Right? You like water? Yeah, such a good girl. Okay, go play. Don't make a mess. Famous last words.
A few moments later.
chickpea, no. No, 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 no. You're not going up in my window ledge. Okay, well, chickpea is going back to her lair. Are you going back to your lair? Yeah. I have my grandma's teacups over there, and she hasn't seen them because she's usually in here when the curtains are shut, and she's like, oh, that looks like a great place to go bat some things around. No, we're not batting grandma's teacups, okay? Okay. Say bye. Say see you later. So now it is time for Stack in the Back. Look at this stack. You're gonna love this one. Hold on. There we go. Top of the stack. This is my spiral in a granny in a spiral. I can never get it right. My granny in a spiral baby blanket. I guess this is about 1 meter by 1 meter. And you just work around. So using 2 different skeins of yarn, you work around in a spiral. So when you get to the end of one round, you just kind of switch yarns and get to the end in the second round. So for this, I used I used Savor and Picasso. In a perfect world, I would have had Favorite and Picasso, just because a Favorite is a lot thinner than Savor, but I didn't have it. So this little gorgeous blanket is a tutorial and written pattern, and it is really fun to do with a variegated yarn and a solid color yarn, because you don't have to step up or join or do a chain or turn or anything. You just keep working around until your yarn is finished, and then you attach a new ball of yarn and you keep working around. So it is very therapeutic. It works up in a square-ish, pretty much a square. So that is Granny in a spiral with Savor and Picasso, but of course I suggest using Favorite or even Softly Baby, and Picasso would be dreamy. You know which one it is. This is the Tammy sweater. Now, it's called the Tammy sweater because of our dear friend Tammy Lethbridge, who lost her battle with breast cancer, very sadly. She was a subscriber of the channel and is a lovely, lovely lady. And her favorite color was pink, and she wanted to make a pink sweater, so I made a pink sweater for her. But let me show you this one. I used Ambient from Ice Yarns for this. It is a nice yarn, but you could use anything. It's similar to Lion Brand Landscapes or Red Heart Unforgettable. It's not, it's more like the Landscapes, to be honest with you. But it's really nice yarn, and it's just double crochet, made to measure your body size. So if you, and you don't have to do the slopey sleeves if you don't want to. I made big sleeves in case whatever I'm wearing, I don't have to like pull my sleeve down with me. My shirt is just gonna fit right inside there. But you can also join it higher on the side of the sweater and go straight across. It has a nice ribbing. That took me forever to figure out, like 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Anyway, I got it figured out. So nice ribbing on the cuffs and on the collar, and it's just made to measure. So you just make a starting chain from like your hip or your butt cheek or wherever you want your sweater. And this dress, I forget even what pattern it is from, but it is so sweet. And it's really good in the winter because it is a very hot dress. So it's good if you want to wear a dress in the winter because you'll be warm. You will be warm for sure. I think this is a Bob Wilson 123 or Crochet with Claire pattern. I don't remember. Well, I'm pretty sure it's her pattern, but I don't know which pattern it is of hers. But I love Claire. I love you, Claire. How do I do it? Zelda, tell me how to do it. Is that how you do it? I don't know. Anyway, love you. Oh, this is Mile a Minute chair back cover. So cute. I made it for the back of that rocking chair right there. Maybe I'll put that on for next week. So it just goes along the back of the chair, and then this hangs over the edge of the rocking chair, and then when it rocks, you get your little berries doing a little shaking. That's cute, right? So it's mile a minute. Another tail. I did sew man's on that too, but that is the thing. If you have blunt tip needles, your ends can still wiggle out. I'm a firm believer in sharp tip needles. So for this pattern, I just used different strange yarns I had on my shelf that I liked, but they were like all different. So they're all a different yarn and all a different texture. I don't even know what they are. They're all discontinued by now, I'm sure. Except maybe that orange eyelash. And I think that mini ladder is still around, but the rest are all discontinued. Oh no, this is Rockstar. That Rockstar is still around, but the rest are not. But really cute, and you just kind of like a way of mixing up your yarns into making something that you could use in any room of your house. So I just picked a bunch of colors that I thought matched the environment where my rocking chair was and put them all together, mile a minute. Oh, the good old Candy Cradle. Who remembers Candy Cradle? Love Candy Cradle. So Candy Cradle is a candy in a cradle, or a candy in a cradle. It's a 2-row repeat with a gorgeous border. So this is in Puzzle Baby. So this yarn does all these stripes by itself. I hope you can see. All those stripes, you just keep using the yarn and it does it by itself. All those great colors. It is a size 2 weight yarn, but I still used a 5mm crochet hook. And let me show you from back there. Isn't that pretty? So I love this blanket. It's really thin, but it's also like so nice and soft. So this is Puzzle Baby from Ice Yarns. Oops, made a big mess of my stack. Of course I did. So this pattern is also a pattern and tutorial on the channel. 2-row repeat, not hard to do, and you can totally do it. It's very beginner friendly. How pretty is that? Just gorgeous, right? I love it. So that is Candy Cradle Baby Blanket. And now another item I've been hiding. Now this is a blanket in gorgeous yarn. I don't know the name of it. It's discontinued. It was like one of those clearancey sale yarns. I think it was called Bunny something from Ice Yarns. It is so dreamy. My daughter loves this yarn like a million times. So I kind of made the blanket for her, but I'm waiting for her to be a bit older and get past her little cutting phase. But let me show you this gorgeous blanket. I should do this too. Oh, look at the pattern. This is, oh, I was gonna do it for Easter. Well, now I can't do it for Easter because I don't have more yarn. I could do it in another yarn for Easter. Look at this stitch. Doesn't it look like Easter eggs? I just see Easter eggs. I love it. I don't know if you can see all the colors. It is much more vibrant than it is looking in the camera right now. It is gorgeous. And I did a cute little border. I don't know what I did. A little border around the edge. Okay, let me show you from behind. Tell me if we should do this as a tutorial for Easter. Maybe we should. It's lacy and fun. It doesn't have to be like for a baby blanket, because I know people are like, it has holes in it, it's bad for a baby. I get it. But you could also just drape it on the edge of your sofa, like as a grown-up. I love it. Okay, hold on. Oh, it's big. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So this is folded in half. So pretty. So the yarn is one strand of like regular yarn, I don't know what kind, and one strand of color changing eyelash. So you have to crochet with 2 strands at a time. It's all wrapped up in the same ball of yarn, but you kind of have to keep track of both of those strands. And then that was gonna be my Easter blanket of some sort. Anyway, let me know if you think we should do that stitch pattern. I don't know what yarn I could use it in. Do you have any ideas? a yarn suggestion, let me know in the comments down below. I don't want to use a total fuzzy yarn because you won't be able to see my stitches. Oh, I do have that Karen Simply Soft. Do I? What's it called? Karen Simply Soft stripes in Times Square. Do you think that would be cute for that blanket? Little Easter eggs? It's a possibility. Anyway, let me know down below. Oh no, I gotta put away the stack. Oh. Okay, well, this one's gonna stay on top because that one's so great. Okay, well, I'm just gonna go put it all back. What was your favorite from this stack? So I hope you enjoyed that stack in the back as much as I did. Let me know what your favorite is in the comments down below. And thank you so much for inviting me over. I'm waiting for you in that video right there, and stay hooked.